The Sea Bride's Vow. Mirella stood by the shoreline, her eyes burning with jealousy as she watched the couple ahead of her. She could not see the man's face clearly at first, but she saw him go down on one knee. The woman screamed in excitement, her hands covering her mouth as he proposed. Mirella's heart sank. As she moved closer, the world around her seemed to pause. She finally saw the man's face. It was Daniel. The same Daniel whose mother had once called her my wife many years ago. Mirella began to blush despite herself. She had searched for Daniel for years. She had refused every suitor from her world because of him. He was her first love. Her only love. Many years ago, Daniel and his family used to visit Iyanla Beach in Brighton City during holidays. They lived in Oliwan village, far from the city. During one of those vacations, Daniel's mother noticed a little girl walking alone by the shore. She was Mirella, beautiful, glowing, and mysterious. Trying to get her attention, the woman laughed and called out loudly, "My wife? My wife? My son's wife." Mirella stopped and turned. She walked closer and saw young Daniel playing happily with sand. She smiled shyly and whispered in her heart, "My husband." Daniel's mother admired her beauty and wanted to advise her to find her parents instead of wandering alone by the sea. But she never knew that her careless words had sealed a spiritual bond. She had unknowingly matched her son with a sea being. Every year after that, Daniel's family returned to the beach, and every year Mirella met them. She and Daniel played, laughed, and bonded deeply. People asked Mirella where she came from, but she only smiled and said nothing. Then tragedy struck. Daniel's mother died. Without her, no one brought Daniel back to the city beach. His father became consumed with work and survival. Slowly, Daniel grew up and forgot. But Mirella never did. She stayed by the sea, crying, waiting, hoping. Whenever her sadness grew too deep, the sea responded. Waves became violent. Boats capsized. Winds raged. Her people begged her to marry one of their own beneath the sea, but she refused. Daniel was her destiny, or so she believed. So when she saw a man proposing on the beach years later, jealousy consumed her. And when she realized that the man was Daniel, older, grown, and no longer hers, her anger exploded. She left the sea and stepped onto land. Daniel's fiancée, Naomi, suddenly felt strange. Her chest tightened. Her heart raced. As people around her chanted, "Say yes. Say yes," she opened her mouth and screamed. "No." Silence fell. Daniel was shocked, humiliated, confused. Naomi herself did not understand why she had said no. She had been the one pushing Daniel to propose in the first place. Daniel walked away angrily. Naomi chased after him, apologizing, confused by her own actions. At the edge of the beach, Mirella stood invisible, watching. Daniel shouted in frustration, accusing Naomi of embarrassing him. Desperate to fix things, Naomi took the ring and proposed back to him. They hugged. They were officially engaged. Mirella screamed in rage. The wind howled. The sea roared. Waves crashed violently. People fled in fear as Daniel and Naomi rushed into their car and left. Mirella collapsed, heartbroken. Once again, she regretted not being human. Her fellow sea beings dragged her back beneath the waves. Daniel and Naomi began planning their wedding. Naomi suggested a private beach wedding, but their pastor warned against it, sensing spiritual danger. They chose a church wedding instead. Mirella watched everything. Determined, she performed a forbidden ritual, one that allowed her to become human again. She attended the wedding. She was breathtaking. Her eyes never left Daniel, filled with love and longing, while her glare toward Naomi burned with hatred. When it was time to present gifts, Mirella gave them a wall clock. Daniel froze when he saw her. She looked familiar. After the wedding, strange things began to happen. The couple fought constantly, over money, toothpaste, food, everything. Their peace disappeared. Their honeymoon never happened. Naomi couldn't cook well, and though they had agreed to hire a cook, she resisted. Daniel grew thinner, frustrated, and began eating out. Eventually, they hired a cook. It was Mirella. Through the wall clock, she had been watching their home from the spiritual realm. Now she was inside it. Her food was irresistible. Daniel loved it. Naomi grew jealous and uneasy. Mirella was slowly enchanting Daniel through her meals. But Naomi sensed danger. One day, Naomi apologized to Daniel, and they reconciled. Hope returned. Mirella became furious. She planned a final ritual to consummate with Daniel and drag him beneath the sea forever. On a Saturday, when Naomi went for cooking lessons, Mirella hypnotized Daniel and lit candles. But Naomi returned unexpectedly. What she saw broke her heart. She ran for help and brought a nearby pastor. When he arrived, Mirella revealed her true form, a powerful sea spirit. She cried, claiming Daniel belonged to her because his mother had given him away with her words years ago. The pastor rebuked her. He cast her back into the sea, breaking her hold. Daniel later remembered the girl from his childhood, the one his mother had called my wife. The wall clock was destroyed. Daniel and Naomi rebuilt their marriage with wisdom and prayer. And peace returned. Moral lesson. Words spoken carelessly can create consequences beyond imagination. Spiritual bonds should never be formed through jokes, ignorance, or obsession. True love is built on consent. Which country are you watching this story from? Drop it on the comment section. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and share. See you in my next story.